Okay, my name is Noval Afif as a first speaker from opposition team. To honorable judges, according to this motion said that this House would require political candidates to pass a political competency test in order to run for office. And yeah, we are totally disagree with this motion. We understand where the government team said that we as the civilians want leaders who are capable and informed and cleverly also. But remember, if we forcing candidates to pass a test just to be allowed to run for office, it seems like we want to improve democracy, but it also limits it and give the way for cheating. I want to fix the misunderstood from government team. First, they said that it's about social contract and competent leadership. They said that in order for government to feel their responsibility to the people, civilians, to uphold the social contract, they must filter and throw out incompetent leaders through a political competency test. Right now, this sounds good on the surface, but when we try to dig deeper, this logic actually have contradict with the nature of social contract. The social contract is not about government decide who's good enough to lead. But remember, it is not the government action. It's about people choosing their leaders based on their hearts, based on their needs, and also for their future life. Open your eyes, guys. In real life, leadership is not just about knowing the laws, sociology, and etc. It is surely about making hard decisions under pressure, being trusted by many people, and important to being responsive to the public, even facing the costing. You cannot measure that just within a standard test. They bring up like Donald Trump as a president in US, right? But Trump didn't become president because people were not aware of his weakness. He became president because significant portion of voters believed in his message. However, it's controversial. And that's why democracy so us is unpredictable and also rooted in human judgment, not just the result of tests. Putting a test in front of candidate doesn't prevent instability. Next argument, they want to increase political participation and reduce apathy or political nihilism. If you want more people to engage in participate in politics, at least you should do is break more unnecessary barrier in front of them, making people feel like they need a certain level, even more of education or academic ability just to being qualified as a candidate. It doesn't inspire. It just reduces it also. Let's not forget that some of the most passionate and community leaders around the world come from working class background or minority groups in some of area who had less access to formal education. These individuals often enter politics not because of their academic success, but because of lived experience and public trust. Remember, recently there was a 19-year-old high school graduate in some place in West Java who became the head of neighborhood organization in Indonesia as known as Ketua RT. He immediately repaired the road with his own money. This shows us that not taking standardized tests doesn't mean you don't have the capability to lead. Remember, how many leaders who had an educational abroad background but actually did corruption, including Indonesia. So, a test doesn't mean uphold the social contract, but it restricts democratic choice and ignores the value of the public trust. It doesn't increase participation. It might scare away many people that we should be encouraged to step forward. We also believe in informed and clever leadership, but it should come from public participation, debates, media, or direct voter, not just from excluding people at the starting line with a piece of paper test. So this is our short main argument. There was our main argument. So the idea of political test seems fair on the surface, but in practice it can easily be manipulated to provoke certain group or individual from running, especially minorities are non-mainstream voice who decides what call us incompetent, who write the question if the ruling government or electoral body has control over this test, they could quietly design it in ways that favor one ideology over another. Imagine if candidates who support progressive reform are asked tricky little questions while those from traditional parties get easier one. Even if the questions are neutral, the grading process could be biased. And worst of all, people with great leadership skills and charisma and public truth could be blocked just because they don't score well on academic style tests. Political competency is proven through public discourse, not exam. Also, the skills needed for leadership, empathy, negotiation, decision making cannot be evaluated in multiple choice format. We've all met people who are book smart but can lead a team. And we've seen community leaders who may not have academic background but earn deep trust because they listen, care, and represent real people life. These policies make democracy more elitist. It filters leadership through an intellectual lens, ignoring emotional intelligence, courage, and connection. So, in conclusion, we are not saying that knowledge doesn't matter. It does also, but it should be shown us through public discourse, not behind a desk. We strongly believe that requiring political tests creates more harm than good. It produces bias, removes voter freedom, and discourages any leader candidate from entering politics. Remember that true leadership is not found in a perfect result test, seems like higher score, but is really found in the trust and support by people.